to je to vlastně náročné. Jsou to správně jako stejně přednášku. Já jsem se jako tak prostě dopisoval, zkoušel jsem se takovou, že...
I'll be the person to put it. You just look at me and I'll switch. Okay.
Do you know how? I just want to press and it's.
No, it doesn't work through this remote.
It doesn't
You
work.
need a special remote for
us.
Okay, well,
that's
there's
like-
I'll just
What is this one?
look at me.
Isn't this one for like
Yeah, so I
air
think it's-
conditioning?
Oh, yeah, I think it's more the thing upstairs.
But you need those small one, right?
Yeah, the small one is a black one. They probably don't have it here. I mean, maybe they
Yeah.
do. I don't. But it's definitely not the what. It's for the thing upside. Yeah, just for the volume and stuff.
They sometimes have used to, you see like three chords, like power,
Yeah.
display, and something. And sometimes it's like USB, and that's what I don't know if you have to try.
Yeah.
So hello everybody, my name is Milena, and I was trying to find out, and I thought it's going to be kind of challenging and kind of pretty easy, comprehensible, but it was not, unfortunately, because after some constructivism, and Tomáš was talking actually about post-structuralism or constructivism. One of the kind of philosophical background of what he was talking about was deconstruction. And I got kind of really interested, like what does it mean? And yesterday as we got like these introductory informations about it, so I was kind of even more confused. So I went home and I thought, okay, I'm going to find out what is it. And then I read, and I got even more confused. Because, and why? Derrida, as a father or founder of this fan of deconstructivism, of deconstruction, he alone defined this movement, let's say, or this ideology as something that cannot be defined. It's not methodology. There are no principles, and actually this is the thing that he was fighting against. Like, we do not have method how to do it. Anything what we say, it can be deconstructed. All the time it can be somehow changed. So we're not going to publish like a work like, okay, these are the pillars, these are the rules. But still, we can somehow try to describe what he was trying to do. The basic theme was to analyze the text or anything what we say, like by the words that are kind of appealing, that are defined as a binaries, or there is a dichotomy. So for example, somehow naturally, and we have been talking about it almost whole day, that good usually is by culture. It induces in us something that we have already this mental picture, or it's in our culture, and it's in the way or habits that we are used to. This is what he was trying to go against. Like when you hear the word, you should all the time think that there is some kind of opposite, and you should not prefer something just because it is said. And what was the point? The point was to find the spectrum of all possibilities. I would like to just mention that this philosophy, and I'm just going to talk about later on a little bit, we cannot really apply. There are some limitations of it, because otherwise it can be misleading, and actually the handouts that I gave you is written there what are the kind of limitations of these theories. Or it can be applied just to arts, let's say, or social science. It's not really applicable to facts, because then it's kind of really hard to argue with it. How does it work, or what does it really mean? As you can see, all the buildings are kind of the way how they are structured. They have like basic pillars of it, and then as we are building it, this scaffolding thing and schemes, they have holes against it. And the point is that deconstructionists, they are trying to find or concentrate on those holes, not the pillars that are already made there or built there, but the holes. Like, look at them, look at these gaps, look at something that is not really in your, that is not meant to be in your attention, and maybe this is important. Just let's to analyze this gap, this hole. So, and I was trying to kind of compare what is structuralism and deconstruction about. So, as we can see, maybe it's much easier to talk about this structuralism because it's in linguistic, it has kind of form, it's logical, it's system, it's about method, it's about reason. But in deconstruction, it's more philosophy. So then you can get to circle. But it's based on skepticism. Anything you do, anything you read, you should be all the time skeptical because so the words, they don't represent the knowledge. They are just kind of a representation or some kind of meaning that you are exposed to. But it doesn't need to be the knowledge, the true meaning of it. Then, attitude to language, so deconstruction, language is a threat. Reality is textual, we already heard something like that. And the knowledge does not derive through language. Then practical differences, symmetry against conflicts, absences, omissions. So as I said, the strategy or some kind of way that people are trying to somehow define this stream and this movement is to unmask these dichotomies, this dichotomy that really happens, because some people are not even aware of it. So, where it can be useful, where we can see it, it's not just in literature and criticism, criticism, but then as a philosophy. And then what is kind of really nice maybe and useful, I found it the most useful in all of this, is architecture. And so here we can see how the kind of controlled chaos and unpredictability can bring something that is pleasure, let's say. And I just found a few examples of it. So as you can see, these buildings are, I think it's when it is about beauty, it's kind of acceptable. Mm-hmm. That it's not really what you are expecting to see. That the structure are not really kind of good in architecture or all these technical things, but still it has stability. So the point is, it's not trying to go against the rules. It's just trying to make a different view, to make it more interesting. So this is another kind of Dresden, then Washington, and this is something new what I actually have not been thinking about, that even in Prague or something like this. And I think it's kind of really interesting, and many people, they find it kind of special and unique about the Prague. And it's, again, just the effect of deconstructivistic theory or philosophy applied in architecture. So that's it. And in this handout which I gave you, I found kind of useful, there are tips how to do deconstruction reading. What was kind of really interesting, and then critics of deconstruction, how it can be like criticize. So again, we are deconstructing the constructivism. So still it can be, it's not really original, it can like universality, and there is no kind of method. So just, if you have time, you can have a great time at home to read this, and to dig into it.